Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl CC Gooden, the self-proclaimed pop culture commentator. If you're new to the channel, welcome. You're probably new because this is a new YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in, and we talk about pop culture, entertainment news, and real life situations that sometimes cross over into pop culture news. And today is one of those days, and we're going to talk about the City Girls. So, Young Miami, Caresha Please. Young Miami brought her show back, Caresha Please, and her first guest was herself. So she had her best friend, Saucy Santana, interview her because we haven't really heard her speak about anything that's going on down to the Diddy allegations and down to the City Girls breaking up. And so I don't have my notes, so I'm going to go off on the top of my head. I think it's better when I go off on the top of my head sometimes, so we'll see how it goes. So bear with me. What we did learn, and that we didn't learn too much that's new when it came down to her and the City Girls. What we did learn in this interview was she said they're not beefing. They're not beefing. You know, they not all the way good, but they're not beefing. And it was a whole thing with JT and Caresha back and forth on the internet. And so she, because of it got taken to the internet, she basically said they really can't come back from that because it got personal out loud on the internet. And then he asked her, what did you think about the whole situation when Cardi and JT was arguing online? And everybody was like, where's Caresha? And then she made a tweet like, I just woke up or something like that, or I was sleeping. And so people felt the way that Young Miami didn't jump in the beef or whatever. And Young Miami pretty much said, hey, when you was beefing with, I think it's Asian Doll or something like that, when you was beefing with her, I was ready to pull up in X, Y, and Z. Her giving that example on how she was ready to ride out for JT when she was arguing with the other girl, when she said, hey, when Cardi and JT was arguing, let me see what's going on and why they're arguing. And she pretty much was like, oh, y'all arguing over the Freaky Girl remix or whatever with Nicki Minaj. Oh, I ain't even know nothing about this. So she pretty much said, oh, once I learned that this is about a song that I was asked to be a part of and didn't even know that you were doing, I'm not jumping in that. You got it. But you said just a few minutes ago that, hey, that's your girl, that's your sister, whatever, you gonna ride out, whatever, you got her back, X, Y, and Z. So basically, she pretty much just said she was in her feelings that JT was on a remix. She's, quote, I was left off of Bad and Bougie. And so for those you don't know, that's a reference to Amigos interview where Takeoff was quoted saying, who was left off of Bad and Bougie? When I think Academics or somebody asked, like, I think it was Academics or something, or Joe Budden, one of them was saying, why were you left off of Bad and Bougie? Who was left off of Bad and Bougie? Or whatever. That was the whole thing. So she was just like, I was left off of Bad and Bougie. So she pretty much letting us know that, I ain't fucking with you. You doing things you're doing your own thing now. Oh, you got a song with Nicki Minaj? Why wasn't I called? I'm confused. What's going on? And that right there is what everybody is talking about. So let's talk about that a little bit more. So the City Girls broke up, and this is what I believe happened and what I can see. JT, she goes into prison for like a year and some change or something like that, while Young Miami had to hold it down. Their album had just, I think, dropped when she was in there. So Young Miami really did hold it down, even though everybody knows that JT is the better rapper. But Young Miami really held down the group by herself. She had to perform by herself. She had to go on do performances by herself. And then she ended up getting pregnant during this whole situation. And she was just really holding it down. So everybody was like really, really... The City Girls was kept afloat. You know what I'm saying? Even Cardi helped them out and did, what's that song? Twerk. And jumped on there with her or whatever. Like, everybody was really anticipating JT to come back. Miami held it down. JT gets out. The anticipation was, okay, we couldn't wait for JT to get out so we could actually watch them together do their thing. That didn't happen. If anything, it died down. It was more hype to City Girls when JT was in jail. And then it's like it was really quiet. Then you really didn't see them too much together. And then when you did see them together, the energy was different. This is what I kind of think happened and seen happen. First of all, JT gets out of jail and is straight into a relationship with Uzi, right? She even said it on when she was on the episode of Caresha Please with her and Santana was on there, how she just like being kept. She like being well kept. So with their music dying down, I think when they did come out with the album, nothing really happened with the album. They both wasn't really into music, seemed like. JT was busy being in a relationship. Uzi and Young Miami not getting along. That kind of put a damper on their relationship in the first place. Because never forget, JT's the one who put this thing together. She grabbed Young Miami to be in the group. And so that put a damper on their relationship. They was arguing like on live in front of everyone. So then Young Miami gets into a relationship with Diddy. And she just, granted, she did level up. Looking back at it now, I mean, if you look at it today, in August of 2024, it doesn't appear to be a level up now. But at the time, a couple of years ago, it definitely was a level up because he was able to get her into spaces that, being a city girl, she was never going to get in. And I think that now because JT had somebody, I'm not saying that's why Young Miami went to go get somebody, but it's like JT focus wasn't even on the music. And JT want to just be at home with her man. Young Miami liked to be out. She liked the limelight. And I believe that's the difference between the two, because that's what Young Miami got used to doing when JT was in prison. Young Miami got used to being on the social scene because she had to hold it down, so she had to be out everywhere. So now she's making friends with some of the other female rappers and other, artists and celebrities. So she's on the scene. Her and Saucy Santana get really close, the closest, because I believe he was friends with JT first. And they both like the same things. And I think that's what it is. They both like the lights, the glam, the glitz, and just being out and just being cute and lit and having a good time, having fun. JT coming out, she ain't trying to do all of that, because granted, she did just get out of prison. Now, I don't know if if JT never went to prison, would that still been her scene? But I do know that's just pretty much what it was. Like, JT, like, okay, I'm at home with my man. You go out and do that. I don't want to do that. Now, they're in two different worlds. They're in two different spaces. So then when Young Miami gets Diddy, everything leveled up for Young Miami. So now she has her podcast, and she's actually, and of course, the benefits of being around Diddy, at the time, the benefits, because there were benefits. We're not about to act like it wasn't. We ain't about to act like it wasn't. She got exposed to the business side of Diddy. In this episode of Caresha Please, she talks about how she got with him when the world was celebrating him. I'll come back to that later. But when she's with him, they're just on, you could just tell, like, she got her podcast. She now have Caresha Please games now. What else? She's got merchandise. Like, she's in her business bag. So she's doing stuff. And I think when that happened, JT over here like, because I ain't gonna lie, JT did come off lazy. And they both wasn't doing anything with the music. They both wasn't putting their energy into the city girls. JT wanted to be at home, and Young Miami wanted to be outside. As simple as that. The difference is, Young Miami was trying to set herself up outside of music, because that ain't something that it seemed like she really want to do. It doesn't seem like it, Her heart really wasn't in it. It was really JT. Even on the episode with JT and Saucy Santana and of Caresha Please, Saucy like, I want to see you be at the radio stations and rapping and doing this and doing that. And JT just wasn't here for it. And maybe at the time her mentality is just like, I don't want to do it. And she wants to be more into the group. Like, she wanted to do more music as far as the group. But then because Young Miami energy really wasn't there and JT wasn't really pushing, it just wasn't working. That's what it seemed like. So then after a while, JT like, hold on. And I ain't gonna hold you up. When she probably like, you know what? Let me kind of like, get in a booth or something. She started being back under Nicki Minaj. Now here's the thing. Because Cardi had helped them in the past, Young Miami allegiance was to Cardi. when Young Miami was on doing an interview, I believe JT was in prison. She pretty much was like, she pretty much took a side instead of just being neutral about the whole Cardi and Nicki Minaj thing. I understand that you want to side with the person who you are maybe the closest to, but she chose a side loudly, and she chose Cardi. So of course, and the JT, I think because of that, JT had made a rap. I don't remember why she dissed Nicki Minaj, but she had made a rap or something. But she made amends with Nicki Minaj. And I just felt like, it seemed like JT probably felt left out of what was going on with Young Miami and Saucy and everything that's happening. But they were operating two different spaces. They started having separate teams. They started having separate glam squad. They have separate everything, riding separately, dressing separately. Like, everything was different. And so now that she's back under Nicki Minaj, she didn't tell Young Miami, like, hey, I'm about to do this song. I mean, for Young Miami to say, nobody called me, the queen ain't called me. Well, I mean, bitch, you did kind of like say, it was pretty much like a F you to her, in light of Cardi. So, I guess, JT probably wouldn't tell you. And then for some reason, JT music, City Girl music get leaked all the time. JT stuff get leaked all the time, and so JT probably, she didn't want that to come out at all about Nicki Minaj. It's kind of like working with Beyonce. You don't want to say nothing. Remember when I think Cardi mentioned, or somebody mentioned that it was a possible collab, or somebody from her team mentioned it was a collab with her and Beyonce. We never heard the song. When we saw that her and Beyonce and Meg linked up, you didn't hear about it. It was just a surprise. And so she probably just didn't want to say anything, but that's probably when Young Miami felt the way, like, oh, right. Oh, really? We keeping secrets now? But then it's kind of like a jealousy thing, I feel, or maybe she just feel away, because it's just kind of like, hold on now. I know I got this going on, but what you over here doing? Wait, you about to do music? What's happening? Which is like, girl, the audacity, because you got your thing going. And if you ain't putting no energy into the City Girls, shit, I gotta do something. So she felt the way. And then JT is probably looking like, I need to do something. And probably Nicki was telling her, like, girl, if you don't come up and come up with some songs, like, you need to go solo. Like, you need to be by yourself. And at the time, JT wasn't comfortable with that. But now, she is. Now, last year she got into a fight with Uzi. What did she? Did she throw something at him or something? Because, Ice Spice took a picture with Uzi or something like that, and she got mad. I don't know, was it that fight? I don't know what made JT a light bulb go off and say, bitch, I gotta get in the game. And maybe it could be Ice Spice, could have been you know how sometimes you need that push? So sometimes you need somebody to piss you off to make you go hard. And to me, Ice Spice being called the Princess of Rap by Nicki Minaj, which that was the title I believe Nicki gave JT first. And then now you're calling Ice Spice, of all people, the Princess of Rap. And then now she cozying up with my man. What's going on? So I ain't saying that's what made her say, hey, but something changed in JT where now she wants to start doing her music. She wants to start working on her solo project. Ain't nothing going. And then Young Miami admitted they were not making money as the City Girls. But they both wasn't putting it all into the City Girls for City Girls to make money. That's what it seemed like. The fans could tell that there was something going on, So it was just the energy. It just wasn't the same. And it's just very unfortunate because everybody was rooting for them. And it just fell flat. So JT started working on her own stuff. And then you start seeing distance between her and Young Miami. And I mean, that's just pretty much what happened. They were just in two different spaces. Young Miami tried to do a couple of songs by herself. Nobody's really checking for Young Miami music like that, though. Because, so if you look at Spotify numbers, as a collective, they got 3 million listeners monthly, right? Young Miami got like 194,000 listeners. JT got 5 million monthly listeners. People were ready for JT to come out with music. People been saying she needed to come out solo. And I understand that it's a little scary. You used to be in a group, but they weren't even in a group that long. Their reign wasn't that long. Or whatever, for them to be doing solo projects. But that's kind of like what happened. Things happen. When she went away and everything changed. When she come back, it's a different energy. Everything is different. So now that she's ready to get back in the booth, we're going to talk about JT on a separate video. But she dropped her Cinderella. There seem to be maybe possible shots to Young Miami on there. We don't know. We can only speculate. So that's pretty much what Young Miami pretty much was saying. So she pretty much revealed that, hey, I decided not to jump in that beef because I'm not about to burn my bridge with Cardi since you over there with Nicki Minaj and making songs and so I'm just gonna be over here. And then when Glorilla and Cardi came out with the Tomorrow 2 remix, Young Miami was in the club singing the part that is directed towards JT with her chest. Say, bitches, while my friend fucked on your nigga, aha. Both y'all bitches pussy. I think y'all should scissor. That was a line. That shade was directed towards JT from Cardi. And was up in there singing that whole verse with her chest out word for word. Okay? So she showed who her alliances was with at that time. And then also there's the thing where everybody thinks that Young Miami thought that she was better than everybody. And it does look that way. Because now we're going to go into the whole Diddy portion. It did look like, it did appear like she was better than everybody. She kind of carried that energy. Like, I'm over here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm getting money. We traveling. I'm at the Met Gala. Like, I'm above. She probably felt like she was above her. And I don't know. I don't think JT was necessarily jealous of what Miami was doing. But I do think that she probably was felt left out because it's like, damn, like she over here doing all this stuff without me and I'm not included. But then I don't really want to do all that stuff anyway. So I don't think it was necessarily that for her. But Young Miami's like, it's kind of an ego thing, you know? Her whole life enhanced mess going around with Diddy. But now it's also in a decline because of Diddy. So let's get into that portion of the interview. She pretty much didn't say anything negative about Diddy. So a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of blogs and posts online that I feel like they're taking what she said out of context. When she said when she got with Diddy, the world was celebrating him. Everybody everyone is interpreting that as I got with him because everybody was celebrating him, so that's why I got with him. Like a bandwagon thing. And that is not how I took that at all. I took that with her saying, the Diddy that you guys are talking about that's in trouble with the law and is getting dragged from here to hell, that is not the Diddy that I was exposed to and that I was with. I was with him by the time we met and started dating. That was a period in time where the world was celebrating him. As clear as day that's what she was that's what she was saying. She said it. I don't think she was saying like I got with him because everybody was on him. I mean, it doesn't matter what everybody, even when nobody was giving him his flowers and accolades, Diddy was still the biggest thing. So at any point in time, so it's not like she was just jumping on a bandwagon where, I mean, I don't think there's a time where Diddy never really got his flowers or like respect or celebrated. Like, you know, it just at this time it was like at a heightened, yeah, but that's how I took that. So she did give him at a time where the world loved him. That's what she was trying to say. The world loved Diddy when I was with, when I was with him. So they wasn't hating him at the time. She also talked about, this is where I think she kind of went wrong. So she talked about how they both fell in love. I felt like that too. You could tell he was smitten with her. You really could tell. And I heard from behind the scenes that he really, 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 really did like her. And so you can tell that Young Miami did like him or love him too. However, that was her cash cow right there for sure. Like, she wanted a baby from him. He had a baby on her. Like, she was sticking it out. She was arguing with his girls online. Like, it was a mess. She was just like, she on him real bad and she ain't coming off him. She said it. She was getting taken care of well over there. But then she said that she didn't experience what the other girls experienced. That wasn't her experience, so she can't speak on it. And she said that she has been in 2 previous domestic violent relationships. So she would never put herself in that position again. When Saucy had asked her, did she experience that with Diddy? She didn't answer that. She didn't say yes or no. She just said she was in 2 previous relationships. So that's not really her saying that Diddy never put his hands on her. But when she said she didn't have those experiences, I guess she is kind of saying he didn't put his hands on me. He didn't make me do X, Y, Z. Now, she didn't talk about her being mentioned into one of the lawsuits about her transporting, the drugs and being a part of the freak offs and, all of that. Like, they said in the lawsuit that she's a part of that. She didn't mention that at all. All she said was that that wasn't my experience. And she did say that she is no longer dating him now because she has to pretty much detach from what he has going on. Because it is a bad look for her to still be with him. A lot of people are saying because she didn't really say anything negative, and then she didn't really even mention about the video with Tim and Cassie. and really show any solidarity towards Cassie or any of the other victims, they believe that she's still dealing with Diddy. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she still was. But if she really isn't, just because she's not saying anything bad doesn't mean she's still with them too. And I think she's in a tough spot. Let's all be honest right now. Sure, if you're thinking about branding wise, in the long run, it would seem like fight or flight. So since you're leaving the situation, you do have to, because you're associated with him and a lot of his deals, and so nobody's gonna want to touch you because nobody wants to touch Diddy, and you're a part of that. And then when you see the video come out, and I don't think it was wise for her to even speak on her having 2 domestic violent situations, because if you're going to speak on that, then this is your opportunity to say, hey, I do not condone that. Even though I didn't experience this, I cannot unsee that video that I and the whole world had saw, and I stand with Cassie, or something like that. That is what everyone expected her to say. But it kind of reminded me, and follow me here, of everyone is expecting, remember, K. Michelle came up under R. Kelly, and everyone expected her to say something bad about R. Kelly, and she really can't do that because he helped her. And I think she said he helped save her life. And so when you feel like you owe your life to someone, you do not want to speak negatively about them. Some people will say, hey, F it, whatever. I don't care what you did for me. What you're doing to others is wrong. But if I'm looking at both sides of it, I can see why Young Miami, she's not necessarily is in support of Diddy, but she's not saying that she's not. So without being negative, she's just saying, hey, I'm not over there anymore. I didn't expect her to dog him out either. Now, we can say if he's still funding her lifestyle, hell no, I ain't saying nothing. He's still funding this. Now, I hope that, this is my question, she was getting money every month from him. Was she putting it to the side, or did she think that she would always, that it wasn't going nowhere no time soon, and she was blowing through it? That's what I want to know. Because even when I was little, watching shows, movies, X, Y, and Z, I've always thought to myself, like, if I was to get with somebody that's like famous or rich or something like that, and they were giving me money, I've always seen situations where the girl is just left out to dry when the man wants to go with somebody else, and now she ain't got no money and ain't made nothing of herself. And I used to say, I'm never going to be like that. If I get with anybody that got more money than me, baby, I know that a man could leave at any moment in time. I'm going to always make sure that I'm good. I'm going to always make sure I got something to put away, right? So I'm just very curious as far as her pockets, because she did say the City Girls wasn't making no money, and then Caresha Please wasn't on. So then it's like, well, what is your monthly income looking like at this time, especially now that Diddy is not around? So I am very curious about that. And then she did have she does have a reality show coming on, and I know they had to reshoot it because Diddy is a part of all of that. It's very unfortunate how that went down, but also she did appear like she was better than JT with her association with Diddy in the life that she was living. And then now she felt like everybody turned on her and nobody was really there for her except for Saucy in her time of need. But then it's like, well, if you kind of shitted on everybody when you was up, you can't expect those same people to be around when you was down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, maybe I feel like she was maybe directing that towards JT. Now I remember when her and JT was going back and forth arguing on Twitter, and JT mentioned, like, I called you when you had during your situation, did I not call you, reach out to you, X, Y, and Z? But it just seems like maybe JT or others just wasn't really there like she thought that they would be. She just felt like really alone. She said she felt suicidal. She felt like her mental health was really is waver sometimes, because that has to be hard. You riding high and now you're being blamed. You're a part of the lawsuits and people are talking about you left and right, and it's a mess for her. So I'm curious to see what she's going to do. I don't know. So hopefully we're going to see how this Caresha Please podcast situation look for her moving forward. She does have her businesses going on. So as far as music for Young Miami, I think she said the label was saying they didn't see any growth with her music. But probably because she's still on her City Girl shit. But a lot of their fans is a little older now. And it's unfortunate because I feel like the City Girls disbanded too soon. Because I could see that their their music catalog could have got bigger and more broader with what they were talking about. Like I could see that they could have elevated to a different level with their music, and unfortunately, we didn't see that. So it's like JT is more. We'll talk about JT another time, but whatever she's doing is working for her, right? Young Miami has to find her way. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't think Young Miami could give you like you ain't looking to her for like lyrical content, but I do think she could give a couple of bops. I think she got it in her to give a couple of bops. However, she's really good with the podcast space, and I really don't know what else she could do. I mean, she probably got to lean into like the influencer and model and stuff like that, but I wonder how tainted is she, how much of a stain being with Diddy is on her now that she's not with him, and how does that look like for her in the future. I don't think it's going to be all the way bad for her, but I am curious, so we will be watching. It's very unfortunate that this happened. A lot of people feel like somebody else should have interviewed her versus Saucy, but I mean, of course she's going to have somebody that she feel comfortable with. It's a safe space, and I think Saucy asked enough questions for us. I mean, she's not going to give us all the CD details. If you're looking for her to drag Diddy, she's not going to do that. That man changed her life. She's not going to do that. So, but I do think that she did herself a disservice by even mentioning that she was involved in domestic violent relationships previously and and not speak on the domestic violence situation. I would have kept that. I would have just not even said that. Because then it's like, well, damn, why you didn't say it for Cassie? That's why it's kind of like either you feel grateful and indebted to Diddy and you're not saying anything, or it's possible that he still could be funding your lifestyle on the low and you don't want to say anything against him. Because if he's not funding, I mean, because she could have went a different route. She could have stood in solidarity with victims, and she could have changed she could have done Black China, changed her whole persona. Or changed, like she could go a different way with it if she really wanted to. But I don't know. We're gonna find out and see. But I'm gonna do another video because I want to talk about the rap girls. Because look, JT dropped the album, Ice Spice dropped the album, Lotto just dropped. We waiting on Cardi. Like the girls is dropping. So I mean, Young Miami, what you gonna do? You wanna get into this little rap space? Do y'all want to listen to music from Young Miami? She only got 100,000 something subscribers, monthly listeners. So it doesn't seem like you guys are checking for her. I don't know. Reality TV may be good for her. You know what would be good? This is my unsolicited opinion and unsolicited advice. I think that Saucy and Young Miami needs to do like a reality show together. Like they both is funny and they both work well together, and I think I would like to see a show based off of them too. Maybe taking road trips and stuff like this. Maybe like The Simple Life. I could see them doing that. That would be interesting. Now, I think because the public do like when we watch Saucy Santana and Young Miami interact with each other. That's how they got the Caresha Please in the first place. I think that would be their best bet to get in favor of the public and then go from there. So that's my advice. Who am I? But like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. Bye.